So, quite a while ago, I said I was going to make a video about brushes and really like what their uses are for, what how you use your different brushes. I think a lot of people have brushes and don't know exactly what to do with them or why they have the brushes they have. So I'm going to start with foundation brushes. I mean, that's like the first thing that most people get. Right in my hands, I've got 4 different options that most likely is what you have at home. So this is really the first foundation brush that most people are going to have had or have at home. It's flat. The bristles are pretty dense. This is really a good brush for applying like thicker creams or like liquid foundations all over the face. Also, um, it really it's a perfectly decent tool, especially if someone does not have an issue of like pores or enlarged pores. You can of course use this if you have pores, but you're just going to use it in a slightly different way versus like dragging across your face. If you have large pores, you're going to do more of like a dab and press motion with it to get the most smooth application of your product. Then there is this type of a foundation brush. It's more of like a dome. The bristles are going to be dense. Pretty much any of these liquid foundation brushes are going to have synthetic fibers. With this particular brush, since it's rounded, the way that you would use this would typically be in slightly more like circular motions. The handle and everything is made more round, so it's a little bit easier to use that kind of motion and blend outward. And then there's also like these really large liquid foundation brushes. So these work really well if you have like a creamy consistency of a foundation and you really want it to spread really far. So use a regular amount of foundation on these and then just buff it out. So these are really 2 different sizes of a very similar thing. They're both going to be quite dense. And then the other applicator that many people use now is also the Beauty Blender. So a Beauty Blender is actually like a makeup sponge that is intended to be used wet, not dry. And with this one, you would actually apply the foundation either to like back of your hand or if you have like a makeup palette, and then you're going to actually bounce it onto your skin, and it creates a really smooth finish as well. I usually suggest, if you have an issue of pores and that's a concern for you, to probably stick with more of like these types of liquid foundation brushes or like applicators, just because I think it tends to smooth out those pores a little bit easier than the flat ones. That's my personal experience, but other people have preferences and that's totally okay. That's half the battle. If you know what you like, just use it.